for Chapter 2, I do need you to read that textbook. There's a lot more information about the self and the perception of self and the other. Today I just want to focus a little bit on how we gather information and how our brain starts to make sense of that information and how we react to that with our communication. So we really don't think about this very often, but there is so much information that is coming into our brain seconds at a time. And so we call all that information stimuli, and we get that information through our senses. So what do we smell? What do we hear? What do we see? What do we touch? What do we taste? All of this is stimuli, and the brain has to quickly decide what stimuli needs immediate attention, and then it reacts to it. So this is where our short and long-term memory comes in, as well as discarding information that we deem is not important. And so again, we're doing this in split seconds all the time, simply because there is so much information that we're receiving at one time. It's overload for our brain, and so it's quickly digesting this information and trying to make sense of it so that we react to it. One way that we organize this information is called a schema. And schemas are mental structures that put together related bits of information. And again, this just helps us to basically come up with formulas of how we react. And so we have patterns in our life, and there's expectations and predictability in those patterns. And so as we grow and evolve and develop, we begin to be able to better assess our world quickly and be able to make decisions on how we react. An example of a schema is when we put this information together is we may see a car, and then the car has red lights, and that's an immediate reaction to us is that the car is stopping, and so we know that we have to react by slowing down or stopping ourselves, or we'll hit the car. And again, I'm sure we've all been in similar situations like this, and we think about it very rarely. It's just a reaction that we have, and it's because our brain has immediately taken that information, put it into a pattern or a formula. We predict what will happen, and so we react to stop that prediction from happening in the case of a car. The same happens when we're interacting with people. If I see a person and that person is yelling and the hand is in a fist, my brain takes all that information, puts it into a pattern, and predicts that the person is angry and they may possibly hit me. So I either have to prepare myself to fight or to run. So we do this often, and we call it typing or categorizing. And again, it's just a way for us to remember things and to remember how to react to certain situations based on our memory and our past experience. So again, we are always categorizing. We're always putting things, like things together, similar things together, because it helps us understand how we're going to behave and have those types of categories in our life or not. So basically what the brain is doing is taking in the information, making a pattern, and from that pattern and predictability, it can decide if we're going to be safe. The brain wants us to stay alive, and so it's always looking to assess the environment to see if we're emotionally and physically safe. It can't discern between the two. If you're uncomfortable, the brain wants you to be comfortable, and so it's going to put itself in a place or a situation where that happens. So for example, I may see a four-legged furry animal in front of me wagging its tail and its tongue is hanging out. And so I'm going to type that image as a dog, and because of its actions, I'm going to think that it is a friendly dog. So again, I feel physically safe. I may see the same image. I may see a dog that is four-legged, furry, but the tail is not wagging and it's gnashing its teeth at me. That's going to tell me that this is a situation that is probably not safe, and so my brain is going to prepare my body to remove myself from the situation because I'm not comfortable. Again, when we look from an emotional standpoint, we categorize and type people all the time. So the brain is still working on a schema and taking all the information that it's gathering when we perceive another person in front of us. And so if I categorize you as a safe person, then I'm probably going to remain in the environment. So you are probably doing something that makes me comfortable. You may be smiling, you may be engaging in a conversation, or you just may have a welcome and safe look to you that makes me feel safe as well. However, if you are angry or have any type of threat or aggressiveness toward me, then I'm probably going to remove myself because I'm not feeling emotionally safe. So in class, we're going to explore this a little bit more. So we're going to talk about how what we see, how that influences how we react to other people. So perception is very powerful. And we're going to learn how it's probably best to withhold judgment of others until we get more information about them. Because oftentimes the immediate information we get when we meet someone is not necessarily the whole person. And we might be reacting to something that's a first impression, but really not a part of that person in the long-term scheme of things. And we're also going to understand how perception influences ourselves. How do we see ourselves, and how do we perceive ourselves, and how does that impact our confidence, our ability to communicate, and our relationships? So don't forget the online assignment. You just need to read the chapters in the book, and you need to complete the quiz for chapters 1 and 2. You can find that quiz under week 3 assignments in Blackboard, and be sure to have it done by Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Thank you.